be a screw, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to Cypherfics. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of, What If Issei, Rias Enter Digimon. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Bobmon on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Sora left the room as Mirai noticed his presence. Sora went to Mirai as he explained his upcoming plan to her. Mirai stayed silent as she listened to everything. As Sora finished his explanation, Mirai frowned as she tried to understand everything or find some flaws in this plan. After a few minutes, Mirai took a deep look at Sora as she asked if she should join Sora and everyone. Sora instantly shook his head in refusal. He didn't want Mirai to join this war. War is unexpected, and he didn't want to see Mirai injured or worse. They could also use a support from behind the scene. Mirai sighed as she accepted her role during this war. She would have to monitor the field and provide support during the war. Before leaving home, he asked Mirai if she could find more information or the current situation of Romania. Mirai nodded her head as she went back to her computer. Sora couldn't help but look at her and reminded Mirai to not work too strong. Mirai hummed in confirmation as she continued to tap on her keyboard. Sora sighed as he shook his head at his friend's state. As Sora was going to leave the DG lab, he heard Mirai's voice from behind. Sora turned his head back, filled with doubt as he looked at Mirai. She saw Sora's face and knew he forgot about the DG farm. She reminded him as Sora slapped his forehead. Sora laughed a little as he went back into the lab. The heavy talk with Wisemon and Datamon made him forget about the DG farm. Mirai returned her attention to her computer with a small smile on her face and Sora closed his eyes as he touched the DG farm. As Sora touched the DG farm, his body glowed as the data stream kept flowing around Sora's body as he disappeared from the DG lab. All that was left in the DG lab was Mirai, as she kept tapping her keyboard. Ah! It's Sora! Boss! Sora! Soa! Sora heard a voice around him as he felt the data stream leave his body. After a few minutes of being motionless, he opened his eyes and saw many cute Digimon looking at Sora with their enormous eyes filled with innocence. Sora couldn't help but smile at this reaction from his beloved partners. "Hello everyone, how are you guys doing?" said Sora with a smile. Sora's greeting triggered various reactions from his Digimon. They all jumped on him as they hugged Sora. Sora naturally couldn't keep up with a horde of Digimon that suddenly jumped on him as he fell on his back on the ground. Sora could see many of them laughing with smile as they kept calling his name or hugging him. Sora didn't move from his place as he kept most of the Digimon in his arms. Sora closed his eyes as he enjoyed this feeling for a few minutes. The Digimon gradually calmed down as they looked at Sora and waited for him to talk again. "I heard from Mirai that you guys wanted to talk with me," said Sora as they all talked at the same time. Stop one at a time, guys," said Sora as he rubbed his temple with a sigh. Sora looked at his Digimon as they all stopped talking and waited for Sora. He looked at everyone and picked Digimon from the many Digimon around him. Digimon is a lesser Digimon. It is a four-legged Digimon and there are powerful fangs growing within its mouth. Digimon, who digivolves into the dragon species, has a rough personality, and is ferocious despite its small size. There are more than a few even larger Digimon that were deceived by its appearance and suffered a counterattack. The temperature of its bites are hot-like. Digimon's expression brightened up a lot as he got chosen by Sora. His mouth started going faster and even faster as he continued talking. Sora was dazed from Digimon's speed. Sora really couldn't keep, so he stretched Digimon's cheeks as Digimon naturally stopped talking and kept looking at Sora with confusion. Sora sighed at his innocent Digimon. Sigh. Digimon, go slower. I can't understand you, said Sora as Digimon's expression understood Sora's action. Sora let go Digimon's cheeks as he waited for Digimon to continue to talk again, but slower this time. Sora, please take me outside. I want to play outside with Kabato, said Digimon as he kept jumping from Sora's stomach. However, this triggered another reaction from his Digimon again. Ah! That's not fair, Digimon. I also want to go outside. Me too, please Sora. Boss. Me too. I want to play with Kabato. Sora looked at his Digimon as he sighed at them. Sora waited for them to get tired before talking again. Sure enough, after 10 minutes, they got a little tired from all those shouting as those little devils looked at Sora again. Sure, I can take 3 of you guys out today to play with Kabato, so let's play a game to choose which one of you guys can follow me. All the Digimon cheered at Sora's suggestion. While the DG farm is good enough for them, they still yearn to look at the human world and play with Sora's family. Sora thought it wasn't a bad idea to leave them with Kabato and his mother. Now that Sora has a job, he couldn't accompany them like in the past. There are at least 20 in-training Digimon and 10 rookie Digimon inside the DG farm. The DG farm is a place for them to train and have fun outside from the prying eyes of the outside world. Sora played a simple luck game with his Digimon. The chosen 3 were picked soon enough. The 3 Digimon that would follow Sora are Digimon, Demivemon and Renamon. Demivemon is a baby dragon Digimon. Unusually for an in-training Digimon, it possesses a body, hands, and feet, and so can grip objects with both of its small hands, and move while hopping about with both feet. As it is very voracious, it especially likes sweet foods. Also, as it is very fond of sleeping, if you take your eyes off of it, it will instantly fall asleep. Renamon is an animal Digimon. It appears to be a golden fox. Renamon is a Digimon whose relationship with humans is expressed bluntly, so depending on how it was raised during its time as an in-training, it is said that it can digivolve to a Renamon of particularly high intelligence. As it is always calm and collected, it is practiced enough that it doesn't lose that composure in any situation. Its slender, tall appearance excels when compared with other rookies, and rather than power battling, it makes sport of the enemy with various arts that use its speed. His other Digimon were pretty sad as they didn't get chosen, as some of them were sulking. Sora couldn't help but laugh at those cute reactions. Don't worry, you'll get chosen next time, everyone. How about I play with everyone before leaving with Renamon, Digimon and Demivemon? Said Sora with a big smile as the nearby Digimon cheered in joy as they could play with their favorite human. Sora is pretty busy lately, so he couldn't play as much as he used to with them. Sora sighed a little as he thought about it. Maybe I should bring Kabato next time here. It will be a big surprise for them. Thought Sora with a smile. I wonder how you are, Lucy. I'm pretty sure those little devils miss you even if they say nothing about it. Thought Sora of his other sister that went abroad to study. Especially Renamon. Thought Sora as he looked at the aloof Renamon near him. Well, no use thinking about it. Sora shook his head as he joined his Digimon for the next hour. Guys, it's pretty late for me, so I should leave. Said Sora as he huffed from all the playing with his Digimon. Ah, exclaimed his Digimon as they got sad about Sora leaving them after they had so many fun with him. Don't worry, I'll come back soon enough and with Kabato this time. Said Sora as his Digimon got even more happy as they exclaimed in joy. His Digimon absolutely loved playing with Kabato. Anyway, see you guys next time. Said Sora as he waved goodbye, followed by Digimon, Demivemon and Renamon. Bye Sora. By boss. By Soa. Sora smiled at them as he closed his eyes not before letting his 3 Digimon entering his Digivice. A data stream enveloped Sora as he left the DG farm. Now everybody, please calm down. Class is starting, so open your book on page 5. Said Sora. Hi. So, we'll be starting with. Yes, Citri-san, what is it? Said Sora as he noticed his favorite student who raised her hand. After Seraphol got permission to talk from Sora, she asked a question that made his face twitch with irk. Sorry, Sensei, I forgot my textbook. Said Seraphol, as she had the nerve to strike a Tehepero face with one eye closed, a peace sign on her head and her tongue out in a silly expression. Sora cracked the chalk in his hand as he closed his eyes as took a deep breath. Sora reopened his eyes with a smile as he looked at the female classmate to Seraphol's right. I'm sorry, Yukino Shida-san, but can you please share your book with Citri-san for today? Said Sora with a stiff smile, as he didn't want to deal with this troublemaker girl. Yukino Shida, who got called by Sora, jolted in place as she didn't expect to get called out and looked at Sora and then at Seraphol in surprise. Yukino Shida suddenly let out a small mischievous smile that Seraphol and Sora noticed. Sora got a bad feeling from this smile while Seraphol's eyes lit up with excitement. Sora held his forehead in pain, hoping he wouldn't get another troublemaker in his class. But the chance is null, as Sora recognizes this appealing student. That's right, and she is Haruno Yukino Shida, a girl from the same verse as his colleague, Shizuka Hiratsuka. Haruno is an appealing woman with shoulder-length black hair and angular blue eyes. Ah. Oh. Of course, Sensei. And please call me Haruno-san, responded Haruno with a smile that Sora completely ignored as his nightmare became real. Of course, Yukino Shida-san, so please, Citri-san, go closer to your classmate for today's PRD. Said Sora as he finally started his lesson. He did his best to hide his darkened face as he noticed the high five from both girls. You know what, 2 problem children are not that bad, so all I'm asking right now is not a 3rd problem child. Thought Sora as he looked at those 2 girls' new friendship. Little did Sora know his future would never be the same because of 3 little devils that would bug him every day at school. As I said on page 5, we are looking at a. Oh. It looks like it's lunchtime, kids. Don't forget about today's homework for our next class together. Said Sora as he looked at his watch and his agitated students that were ready to leave classes. Sora smiled at his students' behavior as he recalled his school days. Go. I won't hold you girls anymore, but if you have any questions, you can come to the teacher's faculty room. Said Sora with a smile as he waved goodbye to his students. Sora was going to leave the room with his books but got obstructed by the appearance of 2 familiar students. Sora looked at them as they looked back at him. They stared at each other silently for a few minutes before Sora made the first move. Sora blinked his eyes as he pinched his nose bridge in annoyance. He looked at those 2 little devils as they cheered between them, probably because they won the unexpected staring game. Sigh. Citri-san and Yukino Shida-san, do you need something from Sensei? Said Sora as he ignored Seraphol and Haruno's pouting faces. Sensei, please call me Haruno-chan since we are friends, said Haruno as she struck a thumb-up pose. Since when did we become friends? That's right, Sensei, you're too much. Call me Seraphol or Saratan. I don't mind either way. Said Seraphol cheerfully as she did the same pose as Haruno. All they got in return was Sora's deadpan face which they ignored as they surrounded Sora. Hilarious, Citri-san and Yukino Shida-san, so what are you guys doing? Said Sora as he resigned from his fate. He entertained his students at their whims. Ah. I need nothing. Oh. Can Sensei give me his phone number? We made a group chat for our class and the only one left is Sensei. Said Haruno as she snapped her finger as she remembered something. Sure, here. said Sora as he silently pulled out his phone to Haruno. Sora looked at the fidgeting Seraphol, who waited for her turn. Her expression brightened when she got Sora's attention. Sensei. I'm here to apply for a club, exclaimed Seraphol as she twirled in place, followed by another pose. Sora. Haruno. Sara-chan, since when you wanted to make a club, asked a dumbfounded Haruno, as she didn't expect her new friend to create a club. Just now, said Seraphol as she responded to the dumbfounded Haruno with a nod. Just now. Yup. For real. Moo, for RAL. Sorry. It was too sudden for me too, Sara-chan, excused Haruno as she noticed her friend's puffing cheeks. Sora held his forehead once more, then suffered another headache from this willful student of his. Well, a devil lives a long life, so you might as well enjoy it, I guess, thought Sora as he looked at this cheerful devil near him. Sora purposely coughed to attract those two little devils' attention to him as they jolted in place. Sora. They forgot about me. Thought Sora as he put an annoyed expression on his face with his hands on his waist to emphasize his annoyance. Sorry, Sensei, exclaimed Haruno and Seraphol as they sidetracked in their own world. Sigh. Don't worry, and you want to create a club, right Citri-san? Yes, Sensei, said Seraphol as she nodded her head rapidly at Haruno, who smiled in silence beside her. Well, the requirement to create a club are 1. A minimum of 3 members. 2. An advisor for the club, like an adult or teacher. 3. Fill out the forms and give them back to your homeroom teacher, aka me. Do you understand? Said Sora as he looked at Seraphol, who nodded in understanding. Yes, Sensei, said Seraphol as she left the classroom, not before grabbing her hand, who waved goodbye. Bye, Sensei. Wait a minute, Citri-san, I can't help but be curious, but what is your club's name? Asked Sora, seeing the almost gone Seraphol and Haruno, who stopped in place. That's right, Sara-chan. I'm also curious. What is your club name? Said Haruno, as she didn't know her friend's plan. Hee. I almost forgot. Said Seraphol as she knocked her head. I'll be making the Magical Girl Club. Sora. Haruno. Sora's face couldn't help but twitch as he offered Seraphol a stiff smile. That's interesting, Citri-san. I hope your club can become real. Thank you, Sensei. See you tomorrow, said Seraphol as she dragged Haruno once more. Sora looked at their disappearing figure as he scratched his head in wonder. She won't be asking me as her advisor, right? Right? Hey, Sora. Are you still working? Asked Takashi as he noticed Sora was cleaning up his desk. Sora looked up at his friend, who came to his desk and confirmed his question. Yeah, I just finished my lesson for this week, so what are you looking me for? Takashi got visibly happy as he dragged Sora, who didn't forget to take his bag with him, toward Noboru, who was working on something, and Janikura, who was playing with his game console. They looked up from their respective task as they noticed the incoming Sora and Takashi. Oh, hello, Sora and Takashi. Said Noboru with a smile. Sup, can't talk right now. I'm fighting a big beast right now, sorry. Said Janikura as his face frowned as his game activity became more aggressive. Hello, guys. Good to see you. Said Sora as he took a seat near Janikura as looked over his shoulder. Sora saw him playing Monster Hunter on his game console. Oh. Are you also playing Monster Hunter, Janikura? We should play together sometimes, as I also have it on my SWCH. Oh. Really? That would be really fun. But I must warn you, I'm a pro gamer, so you better not drag me down. Said Janikura with a smirk on his face as he looked up at Sora. Ah, Janikura, you got stomped right here. Said Sora as he pointed at the game console as Janikura got distracted. Please don't die, I have to run. Ah, exclaimed Junikura as he tried to escape but failed to do so. He slumped in his chair in depression as he thought about life. Better hunt next time, Junikura, said Sora as he patted Junikura's shoulder. This action seemed to the dead Junikura as he miraculously came back alive and scolded Sora. Why you, it's your DMN fault that I died, cried Junikura as he shook Sora's shoulder in anger. Ha 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 ha, laughed Sora, as he saw an interesting side of his friend. Why are you laughing? This is serious, Sora, cried Sora as tears flew out of his eyes. Okay, calm down, guys. I didn't bring everyone together to talk about the game, said Takashi as he noticed the situation was getting out of hand. The trio looked at Takashi in confusion but still waited for him to finish his talk. I'm here to announce our first celebration, exclaimed Takashi as Noboru, Sora, and Junikura were even more confused by this sudden celebration. Come on, guys. We have to celebrate Sora's as his first year at Kuo and the beginning of this semester. Sora, Noboru and Junikura, oh. Interesting. I don't mind celebrating with you guys, said Sora as he affirmed his participation to Takashi. Indeed, I still have more copies to check before leaving, so I'll join you guys later, said Noboru with an apologetic face. Takashi understood Noboru's difficulty as he waved his concern and told him not to worry about it. I'm not coming, I still have to catch up on this week's anime, and I have a lot of snacks waiting for me, said Junikura as he packed up his game in his bag. I'll pay for the food, so you better come, you DMN otaku, said Takashi as he gritted his teeth in annoyance and heard Junikura's ridiculous answer. Junikura froze in his action as he sat back in his chair. Actually, I can do it tomorrow, and my snack can also wait for me. Takashi dragged Sora and Junikura toward the exit as they waved Noboru goodbye. They saw two teachers who noticed them as they were coming near the door. Sora recognized one of the teachers as he greeted her cheerfully. Oh, hi, Hiratsuka-san. I thought you had already left. Oh. Hiwajima-san, Oashima-san and Kagami-san, are you guys leaving now? Said Hiratsuka as it also surprised her to see them now. Yeah, we were going just now, responded Sora as he noticed the unknown person beside Hiratsuka. Hiratsuka noticed Sora's looks as she remembered her friend next to her who didn't know about Sora. Ah, that's right. You don't know. Let me introduce her to you, Hiwajima-san. She is Sengoku Chihiro, the teacher's art teacher at Kuo Academy. Nice to meet you, Sengoku-san. I'm Hiwajima Sora, the new English teacher at Kuo, said Sora. I thought you would forget to introduce me to this handsome little Shizuka-chan, said Chihiro with a hand on her cheek as she looked at Sora with an affectionate eye. Ha ha ha. She is always like that, Hiwajima-san, so don't worry about it, said Hiratsuka with a forced laugh. I see, said Sora with a stiff smile. Sora recognized this girl from his old world. Another hopeless woman like Hiratsuka, who tried to find a boyfriend. So, when are we going to eat? I'm pretty hungry, you know, said Junikura angrily. Wait, don't say that, responded the very flustered Takashi, but unfortunately, Hiratsuka and Sengoku heard about Junikura's complaint. Eating? Are you guys going somewhere? Asked the slightly interested Hiratsuka and Sengoku. Huh. We will eat as Takashi is paying for us, and Noboru will join us later, said Sora, as he overlooked the horror on Takashi's face. But Sora noticed the face of Hiratsuka, and Sengoku brightened up from his words. Interesting. Please wait for us. We are also joining, said Hiratsuka as she left them in a hurry. That's right, cutie, we are coming back quickly, said Sengoku as she also left in a hurry. Wait, I didn't. Exclaimed Takashi, but accepted the current situation. Ah. Shouldn't I tell them about it, said Sora, noticing his friend's painful expression. No, it's not your fault, but I don't know if my wallet can satisfy those two women. Cried Takashi as he took out his wallet with tears. I'll help you pay if needed. Said Sora as he patted his shoulder. Thank you, Sora. Said Takashi as he hugged Sora as he found his lifeline. So when are you eating? Interrupted Janikura tactlessly, as if he didn't care about the current mood. You, cried Takashi as they charged toward the unaware Janikura but got held back by Sora. Let me go, Sora. I need to deal with this DMN otaku. Calm down, Takashi, violence is not the solution, exclaimed Sora as he held back his enraged friend. 25 minutes later. We are back, so, oh. What happened here? Said Hiratsuka as she and Sengoku noticed the appearance of their three colleagues. Janikura was pouting as he crouched on the floor with a bag on his head, a satisfied Takashi, as he let out a laugh every 10 seconds and an exhausted Sora. They looked at Hiratsuka and Sengoku, but they tactfully ignored her question as if nothing had happened. Nothing, let's go. I just texted Noboru the address of the place. Said Takashi as he took the lead, followed by Sora, who dragged the still pouting Janikura. Hiratsuka and Sengoku looked at each other in confusion but still went along for the free food. Kanpai. Cheers. Sora and his friend drank beers at the barbecue place. Noboru joined them in time as they just began grilling the meat. So, Sora, how do you feel about Kuo? Asked Hiratsuka as she drank her beer with relish. Hiratsuka's question surprised Sora, who was eating grilled meat, as he thought about it. Well, not bad. The kids are nice, though I wish they could shout less in the future. Said Sora with a tired voice. Because of Sora's handsomeness, he is suffering from his newly created fan club created by the student at Kuo. Ha ha ha, that's what you get for being too handsome. Laughed Hiratsuka as she slapped Sora's back. Luckily, Sora's body is better than the average human, or he would suffer from Hiratsuka's strength. You shouldn't blame them, cutie. I understand those little girls' feelings. Said Sengoku as she drank even more beer. Lucky BSTRD. Muttered Takashi as he cried without tears and engulfed more meat in his mouth with anger. Boring. Said Janikura after he glanced at Takashi as he ate the grilled chicken. Ha ha ha, don't worry, Sora, you'll get used to it, eventually. They mean nothing bad, they are just little girls in their PBRTY. Said Noboru as he grilled more raw meat into the grill. I guess so. Murmured Sora as he ate in his own world. Come on. It needs to be more lively, everyone. Let's go for another round. Kanpai. Kanpai, shouted everyone as they clinked their beer as the party got even more fierce. Fortunately, as a human who knows the supernatural, his alcohol tolerance is better than his friends. It's currently midnight, and everyone is dead drunk except for Sora and Noboru. Even Janikura got drunk because of Takashi, who forced him to drink in his drunken state. Hey, those careless adults, how could they get drunk like that? Luckily, we have an afternoon class to teach tomorrow. Said Sora as he witnessed his friend being blackout drunk. Indeed, they got a little too excited. Said Noboru as he scratched his cheek. Sora noticed a server coming to their table. Hello, customers. Are you ready to pay? Said the server. Oh. Yes, we are done. Said Sora as he took the bill from the server. That's perfect. Here, your total amount is XXX. Thank you for eating at our establishment, and come back here. Said the server after he left with dirty dishes. Hey, looks like I have to pay for this party even though Takashi said he got it. Said Sora as he took out his wallet. Ah. Is it troublesome for you, Sora? I can pay if you want, as I have enough money," said Noboru as he also took out his wallet to pay. "Nah, don't worry, Noboru. I was complaining, so I got his round," said Sora as he waved at Noboru's concern. "Ah, if you say so," responded Noboru as he put his wallet back in his pocket. Sora smiled at his friend as he paid the server, who returned to their table. Sora and Noboru then looked at their friend. Sora sighed in annoyance while Noboru let out a wry smile. They had to get their friend back home safely as they couldn't leave them there. "What can we do with them? I don't know where they live," said Sora as he scratched his head in frustration. "Well, I got Junikura and Takashi as our house is in the same way, so I count on you with Hiratsuka-san and Sengoku-san," said Noboru as he thought about their situation. "Well, let's call 2 taxis," said Sora as he took out his phone to order 2 cabs for them. They were lucky enough as the 2 taxis were close enough, as they didn't wait long. Sora left the first taxi to Noboru, as he also helped him put Junikura and Takashi in the cab. "See you tomorrow, Noboru, and stay safe," said Sora as he waved them goodbye. "You too, Sora, and also stay safe," said Noboru as he also waved goodbye as the taxi drove away in the night. Sora saw a taxi coming near him as the driver pulled near him. The driver lowered the window, and Sora saw the driver's face. "Taxi for Sora Hiwajima," said the driver as he asked Sora for confirmation. "That's right, it's me, and can you wait for a few minutes as I have 2 friends with me?" said Sora. "Sure, take your time," said the driver with a smile as Sora swore that he saw the driver's eye flash at the mention of his 2 friends. The driver gave him some bad vibes, but Sora shook his head as he went back inside the barbecue to fetch his 2 drunk teachers. Sora returned with Hiratsuka and Sengoku in his arms and dragged Hiratsuka first, him next, and Sengoku last. "Thank you for waiting and please go to XXX, said Sora as he instructed the driver. "Sure, no problem," said the driver as Sora swore that he saw the slit pupil in the driver's eye. "This guy is giving me bad vibes. Let's not startle the snake and take it slow," thought Sora as he closed his eyes. He tried his best to ignore the sleeping Hiratsuka and Sengoku on his shoulder. Sora dived into his mind as he called for a Digimon for help. He would typically detect on his own whether the enemy was human, but he was curious if he could do it without being caught. "Wizardmon, are you here? I need your help with something," said Sora as he waited for a response. Sora was inside the space of his sacred gear that could be accessed from his mind as he waited for the appearance of Wizardmon. "I'm here, Sora." "What can I do?" said Wizardmon as he appeared in front of Sora. Wizardmon is a wizard Digimon. It is an advanced Digimon from Wichelny, the digital world of another dimension. In its native digital world, it mastered the sorcery, advanced programming language, of fire and earth. Wizardmon is a humanoid Digimon. It wears brown shoes with crescent moons on the ankles and matching brown gloves, a yellow and red full-body suit with mouths that can be opened and closed with zippers, a red vest, and an indigo cape with randomly arranged DG code. A pointed indigo hat with a skull on it. Its face is obscured by the collar of its cape and hat, only its green eyes and blonde hair can be seen. It carries an orange wand with an egg-shaped sun on the tip. "Can you help me identify this driver? I got a bad feeling from him," said Sora as he explained his situation to Wizardmon. "Sure, I don't mind, Sora. You create us, after all," responded Wizardmon as he waved his staff. Sora didn't dare interrupt Wizardmon's magic as he waited silently on the side. "You are right, Sora. He is not human but more of a dark feel and twisted, and he should be a stray devil with middle-class strength. Thank you for the information, Wizardmon. Can you help me monitor my surrounding? I'm pretty sure he is not alone in this situation." "Of course, Sora, I'll alert you if I sense more stray devil," said Wizardmon as he disappeared from the sacred gear space. Sora also left his mind in space as he returned to reality. Sora took out his phone and noticed that 1 minute had passed in the real world. He put his phone back as he looked at the driver's back. What a daring devil! How dare he go after him and his friends? Thought Sora as he looked outside the car. Ah, I see how they will deal with us. Thought Sora as he noticed they were not driving to his house. He should drive us to his hideout, so let's wait for now. We are here. Thank you for taking my taxi. Please give me 5 stars for the review, said the man with a disturbing smile as they stopped in front of an abandoned factory. Wizardmon, thought Sora as he communicated with his Digimon in his mind. Sora soon felt the mental link between him and Wizardmon. I confirm, Sora, there is more stray devil inside the factory. I sense 4 low stray devils and 1 high-class lost devil. Please be ready to be summoned at any time, Wizardmon, and see if you can ask Renamon for help. At your order, Sora, said Wizardmon as Sora felt the mental link between them break. I'm sorry, but that's not my house, said Sora coldly as he opened the door with Sengoku and Hiratsuka in his arms. Oh. That's strange. I swear that I followed the GPS instruction. Why don't you come back inside the taxi? We'll figure it out together, said the man as his face became twisted with madness. Drop your act strays, devil. I know you're not a human, said Sora as he retreated from the taxi with Sengoku and Hiratsuka in his arms. The smile on the driver suddenly disappeared as a blank face appeared. Well, I didn't expect that, human. But it's too late. You're surrounded, said the driver as his human appearance vanished. Sora finally saw the true face of his enemy. Oi, 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 I actually came inside a snake's den, said Sora as he scratched his chin. Sora saw his taxi driver's proper form as a half-snake lower body and human upper body. That's not all, as 5 more devils surrounded Sora and were also the same as his old taxi driver. Surrender, pitiful human. Humans are nothing but food for us devils. We are the elites of this world. Those 2 females look delicious. Trash, humans. As a noble high-class devil, you should kill yourself for this king. Those devils didn't put Sora in their eyes, even if Sora knew about the supernatural world. They thought he was a small fish, like every human they had ever met. Unfortunately for them, they would soon know of the wrath of the future Digimon Emperor. As Sora was going to summon Wizardmon and Renamon as backup, he felt someone's movement in his arms. He looked down and saw Hiratsuka, who woke up from her sleep. SHT. What bad timing, said Sora as he saw Hiratsuka's eyes on him. Hiwajima. Where are we? Why am I in your arms, said the startled Hiratsuka as she tried to move away from Sora's arms. Wait, let me out. Calm down, Shizuka. We are in danger right now, shouted Sora as Hiratsuka's mind went blank by surprise. Wait. How can you call me Shizuka like that? What danger are you talking about, Monster, said the scared Shizuka as she noticed the devils surrounding them. Her legs trembled as she saw their vicious and perverted gaze on her. Sora, who noticed Shizuka's terrified state, couldn't help but slide her head as Shizuka stopped trembling as she closed her eyes to feel Sora's warmth. Hiwajima wa, said Shizuka as she got interrupted by Sora, who put his finger on her lips. Shizuka blushed at this sudden affection from Sora while the bewildered stray devils stared at them from the side. Stray devils? Stray devils, hello. Did you forget about us? Boss, those arrogant humans are ignoring us. Should we attack them? Said a low-ranked stray devil as he couldn't help but want to rush headfirst. Idiot. That male human is not simple, said the leader as he slapped his underling's head. Huh. What a joke. Aren't they nothing more than flesh bags? Don't tell me you are scared, leader, mocked the rebellious low-rank stray as he noticed their leader's serious face. Snort, go then. I won't stop you, but don't blame me if you die first, said the leader coldly as his stare stunned the rebellious. That's what I thought, weakling. Let's observe the situation first, but Hex creates the magic boundaries. Of course, leader. Responded to the devil that Sora recognized as the taxi driver. Of course, Sora noticed their actions, but they weren't as important as the appealing lady in his arms. Call me Sora now, Shizuka, said Sora with a smile that reassured Shizuka even more. Shizuka blushed even more as she looked away in shyness from Sora's affection. She soon slapped her face as she noticed the wrong atmosphere surrounding them. Answer me. SSS Sora, what are they? Said Shizuka as she tried to put on a serious front. How cute, thought Sora as he pinched Shizuka's cheek. Who got stunned by Sora once more? Stop. Be serious, Sora, said Shizuka as she slapped Sora's hand away. Sora laughed at Shizuka's cute reaction but got serious as he noticed the stray getting closer. They are stray devils, the same devil from the Bible from hell, said Sora as he communicated with his two Digimon in his mind. Devils? Are you for real? Exclaimed Shizuka as she felt her 20-year life experience was fake. That's right, welcome to the other side of this world. Devils, angels, gods, yokai, and magic are real, said Sora as he understood Shizuka's current mentality. You were living your life as an average human until you discovered the existence of a monster that walked on the same planet as you from all these times. Aren't we in danger? Should we call the police? Said the panicked Shizuka as she looked at her surrounding. Ha ha ha, how cute, Shizuka, don't worry about me here. They won't touch a single hair of you, said Sora as he flickered her forehead. Shizuka covered her forehead as she pouted in dissatisfaction at Sora's action. I'll take your word for it, said Shizuka fiercely as she twisted her head away, but Sora could still see her taking a few worried peeks at him. Don't worry, Shizuka, that's my promise to you. Oh, please take care of Sengoku-san for me and to think she didn't wake up from all those sounds, said Sora, as Sengoku's sleeping state impressed him. Oh. I forgot about Chihiro, and yeah, she is a heavy sleeper, said Shizuka as she hugged her friend. Please stay safe, Sora, said Shizuka softly with blushes on her cheeks. Don't worry. I also have two trusted partners with me, said Sora as he summoned his sacred gear. The Annihilation Maker, as a Digivice. His action startled the stray devils near him, and they panicked. Stray devils. F. Did we kick a bucket just now? A sacred gear? And it must be a top-ranked one. Aa Longinus? Impossible, I don't recognize it at all. A new one, maybe? Possible. Are you ready, devils? Now, count up your sins, said Sora as he snapped his finger. Wizardmon. Renamon, shouted Sora as two figures popped out of his Digivice and appeared near Sora and Shizuka. Nice to see you guys. Renamon coolly nodded in silence while Wizardmon waved his staff toward the devils. Please take care of Shizuka, guys. I'll take care of them. Of course, Sora, said Wizardmon as he cast some protective spell on Shizuka and Sengoku. I'm fighting with you, Sora, said Renamon, as she was unwilling to be on the sideline. Sora took a glance and nodded at Renamon with longing. Well, I can't let you fight alone like that, am I right? Said Sora as a Digivice in his arm blinked. Execute! Shouted Sora as a white glow surrounded his free hand. Spirit Evolution, shouted Sora as he swept the white glow on his Digivice. Sora's entire body got surrounded by many white circles like his hand earlier, as his body glowed white. A red armor appeared behind him as it superimposed on Sora's body. Agumon. The devils panicked even more than they felt. Sora's strength went beyond their own. What's going on? Leader. Fight. Interrupt his transformation. We can't let him transform, shouted the leader with fear as he cast his dark flame toward Sora. Too late, devils, shouted Sora as a humanoid clad in a black bodysuit and red armor came out instead of Sora's place. The dark flame got eaten by Sora's new form. SS Sora, asked the dubious Shizuka as she saw this humanoid take Sora's place. Yes, it's me, Shizuka, but now you should call me Agumon. Shouted Agumon as flames surrounded him. As I said, devils, count up your sins, said Agumon as the stray devils trembled with his gaze alone. SHT. SHT. Kill those two women beside him, cried the leader as he threw the first flame breath toward Shizuka and Sengoku. The other stray did the same as they followed their leader's order. They noticed their dangerous situation from Sora's transformation. Not putting me in your eyes, huh? Said Wizardmon as he saw the incoming attacks toward them. Wizardmon spun his staff as the magic particles surrounded him. He stopped his staff as the tip touched the ground. The ground shook as the ground elevated, forming a wall covering Wizardmon, Shizuka, and Sengoku. Thank you, Wizardman-san, said Shizuka, a little dubious about the true nature of Sora's partner. Just doing my job, Hiratsuka-san, said Wizardmon nonchalantly as he cancelled his earth spell. The stray leader bit his finger in frustration as he saw this scene. Their combined attack couldn't pierce the earth wall, so they couldn't attack those defenseless women because of this wizard. So they might as well kill that fire warrior and that fox humanoid if they want to win. The leader thought about it, and his plan became even more doable. Let's go kill that fire guy and fox. We are 6 devils, and I don't believe they can handle us all. Shouted the leader as he slithered toward Sora, followed by his lackey. Finally, boss. I was waiting for that. Ha ha ha. Their boss's order excited these low-ranked devils as they were unconvinced by Sora's strength. They didn't think he would be more robust than them with their combined strength. I'll take care of the leader and leave you with those small fries, said Agumon as he jumped toward the incoming leader. Understood, responded Renamon as she ran toward her targets. As Agumon jumped in the air, he saw a better view of this battle. He thought about his first move to disrupt his enemy's plan. Well, let's take down their leader first. They should be dependent on their boss, thought Agumon. Salamander break, muttered Agumon as he twisted his body with fire coming out of his gauntlet that surrounded his body as Sora became a fire tornado. Sora unleashed a whirlwind of flames as his kick caught the unprepared snake leader on his chst. URK. The stray devil flew away toward the factory's wall as Agumon dropped to the ground, whereas the leader once was. Agumon stared at the leader's subordinates as they froze in fear, preparing for Agumon's attack, but luckily they got ignored by Agumon, who ran toward the factory. They breathed a sigh of relief not before freezing up again as they heard Agumon's voice from a distance. I'm leaving them to you, Renamon, said Agumon as he entered the factory. No problem, said Renamon as she appeared near those stray devils. She faced those devils as she taunted them toward her. DMN, to think I would get looked down on by a one-tailed fox yokai. BSTRD, now with that fire dude gone, you shouldn't be that arrogant. That's right. We are 5 devils. What are you going to do? I'm a middle-class devil and different from this garbage low-class. You can't beat me, beast, said Hex with a sneer on his face as he looked at Renamon with contempt. As the second leader of the band, Hex regained his arrogant nature by seeing Agumon gone. He didn't think Renamon could handle them all with Agumon, the freak of nature, gone. He sensed Renamon's strength somewhere between the middle class. They were at the same level, but he had 4 low-ranked devils with him. That's where his confidence stems from. Shizuka, who witnessed and heard their conversation, became even more nervous as she looked at Wizardmon beside her. Don't you think you should help your friend? Sora is gone, and I don't think she should risk a 1 versus 5. Said Shizuka worriedly as she noticed the unfair fight. Wizardmon glanced at Shizuka silently as he opened his mouth to reassure her. Don't worry. Renamon is a trusted general of Sora, and she won't lose a fight against those random guys. If you say so. Responded Shizuka dubiously as she looked at the upcoming fight. She didn't know about Renamon's true strength, so she doubted her in the face of 5 opponents, but Wizardmon, a partner summoned by Sora, guaranteed the power Renamon had. She decided to believe in it and pray for their success. She was currently a powerless woman waiting for their return. I'm so weak. I wish I could help them fight. Muttered Shizuka as she clenched her fist in frustration while watching this encounter from the beginning until now. Maybe Sora has a solution, thought Shizuka nervously. I hope you come back safe, Sora. Muttered Shizuka as she looked at the factory in the distance. Ah, groaned the stray leader in pain as BLD came off his mouth. He tried to stand up but could only fall down each time, as his injuries were too severe. He heard running coming from the factory's door as he saw the appearance of a Gunamon entering. He came furious as he saw the perpetrator of his injuries. BSTRD. How could I, a noble devil, lose to a garbage human? This is impossible. I won't believe it, shouted the furious devil as his body changed. Gunamon looked at this sudden transformation with interest as he decided not to intervene. He wanted to see how much this transformation would bring to his enemy. He wanted his fight to be more significant and review his strength as a Gunamon. If the devil became more robust, it only meant it could handle more beating from a Gunamon. He was annoyed to get his night interrupted as prey by those damned devils who dared to kill his friends. Gunamon crossed his arm as he waited for the end of this devil transformation. He wasn't familiar with this sudden power, so he decided to do something about it. He went into his mind as he called for a friend. He waited for a second as he felt his mental link get picked on by someone. Wisemon? Asked Sora as he saw the Digimon he had waited for. Yes, it's me, Sora. Responded Wisemon on top of his book. I need you to record this blackening from this devil. I would like to know more about it. Said Sora as he stated his intention to Wisemon. Understood. Said Wisemon as he bowed goodbye to Sora, who also left his mind space. Sora opened his eyes to reality and saw that the devil had finally transformed with all the time he gave it. Fufufu, so what do you think about my strength, huh? Pitiful human. This is something you will never get, ha ha ha, said the stray devil mockingly as his temper rose from another level from Gunamon's observation. So it's like a berserker-like transformation, and it looks like he lost his sanity a bit from this power-up, muttered Gunamon as he observed the change in his enemy. Interesting. Said Sora as the corner of his mouth lifted. Sora observed his enemy further as he noticed that his power went further. Low ultimate class. How powerful, so he broke the ultimate gap with this transformation as a high-ranked devil. Gunamon punched his fist together as fire surrounded him like majestic fire armor. Even if you transform, I will still beat you, devil, so be prepared for your death. Gunamon charged toward his enemy as he unleashed a blazing dragon from the burning wrists near his gauntlet. Burning salamander. Muttered Gunamon, with his punch outstretched toward the devil. Useless, in this form, I am stronger than before, so begone human, shouted the devil madly as he outstretched the palm of both hands with a dark laser coming out of it. Ah! Hiya! No impossible how. This is a blessing from my lord. How can I still lose to a filthy human, shouted an enraged devil as he saw his laser losing to Gunamon's punch. Nothing is impossible, you disgusting devil. Take that and repent. Burning Salamander Max, shouted Agumon as the blazing dragon from Agumon's burning wrists went even wilder. His fist broke the devil's attack as his punch contacted the devil's chest. A flame pillar enveloped the enraged devil as his unwilling cry filled the factory. "I won't accept this fate," shouted the mad devil as his body turned into ashes. That flew away. Agumon stopped his attack as he looked at the aftermath of this fight. "Tsk, I used too much strength, oh well, let's look at Renemon's fight," said Agumon as he walked out of the factory. "Diamond Storm," Renamon muttered as she hurled razor-sharp leaves at her opponents. To her dismay, her adversaries brushed off her attack as trivial, their unwarranted arrogance blinding them to the real threat. Yet, Hex, their temporary leader, saw through the deception and attempted to alert his dim-witted underlings who couldn't fathom the impending danger. "Idiot! Move! It's more than just mere leaves," Hex yelled, frantically weaving a protective magic circle with his hands to counter the incoming foliage. The most audacious of the stray devils couldn't resist ridiculing Hex for his apparent fear of leaves. He had just begun to boast about his leadership qualities when Renemon's Diamond Storm descended upon him. Leaves whirled around him, embedding themselves in his flesh, and his lifeless body crumpled to the ground. The remaining strays stood frozen, struck dumb by the sudden turn of events. "Strays!" "Devils, fortify your shield!" Hex bellowed as he spotted the second wave of leaves hurtling toward them. His subordinates, chastened by the fate of their fallen comrade, wasted no time in raising a protective circle shield to defend against the impending barrage. Renamon, however, recognized the shift in tactics. While the lower-class devils were preoccupied with her Diamond Storm, she seized the opportunity to approach them unnoticed, setting her sights on eliminating them before dealing with their equally formidable leader. Her paws pressed together as she whispered an incantation, Kohenkyo, Fox SWCH Deception. With this transformation art, Renamon mimicked the appearance of one of her adversaries and seamlessly exchanged places with the devil's fallen comrade, who lay nearby. A chill of disbelief ran down the spines of the remaining devils as they witnessed the sudden movement. "BB Braith, how can you move?" stammered a terrified devil, his shout echoing through the tense atmosphere. "Idiot, your shield!" Hex urgently reminded his subordinate. A sense of foreboding began to creep over him as he scanned the surroundings. Something was amiss, he couldn't locate his elusive opponent. "What?" exclaimed the befuddled devil, losing focus, causing Renemon's leaves to slice through their weakened shield, injuring his left arm in the process. "Argh, my arms," he cried out, tears welling up in his eyes from the searing pain. "Quick, find me that fox. She can't be far from here." Hex's anxiety mounted as he urged his subordinates to maintain their vigilance. He was well aware that their adversary was a formidable force beyond their usual prey this time, and he wasn't about to underestimate the danger she posed. Hex's unease deepened as he noticed a perplexing development: there were now 2 corpses of their fallen comrade. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. "Wait, how come there are 2 corpses of that guy? Quick, verify both of them for me," Hex commanded, his subordinates splitting into 3 teams. One devil examined the first corpse while the other 2 approached the new one. Simultaneously, Hex and the injured devils closely monitored the proceedings. The injured devil, trembling and with a ghostly white face, suddenly realized he had forgotten something crucial. He spoke up, his voice barely audible, "BBBOSS. "Huh. Don't waste my time, and say it already," roared Hex, his patience wearing thin as he faced his weak and cowardly subordinate. The injured devil stuttered, his voice trembling as he continued, "WWL, I saw the Corp PPSE move. That's why I lost focus." Hex's expression turned to one of shock, "What did you just say?" he shouted in utter disbelief, snapping his head toward one of his subordinates who had been inspecting the fallen comrade's body. "Stop for me!" Hex yelled to his allies, realizing he was already near the body. He also noticed movement from the body as it shrouded a hand in ghostly flame. "What do you mean, boss?" said the oblivious devil, unaware of the ominous turn of events. "Isn't it just a corpse?" "Don't be paranoid, boss. I also heard Tyrie's nonsense, so don't overthink about it. How can a corpse move again?" "Ridiculous," ranted the oblivious devil as he grumbled about his boss's peculiar order. "Idiot, move." Hex exploded angrily, unable to fathom how he had so many dimwits in his team. "Look, boss, this is just a corpse. Let me show you." "Arg." The careless devil's sentence was cut short as a hand covered in ghostly flames pierced his heart. The air grew heavy as another squad, drawn by the commotion, observed the gruesome turn of events. "How?" muttered the unlucky devil, blood spurting from his mouth as he fell to his knees, succumbing to the pain and ultimately perishing on the ground. The squad of devils looked on in horror at their dead friend, who had just killed another comrade. The corpse killer rose from the ground, white smoke emanating from his body, revealing the true identity of the deceiver, Renamon. Hex grasped the gravity of the situation as he examined the corpses and the trick that had unfolded before him. "SHT. We've been fooled. Quick, kill that BSTRD." Hex shouted as he readied a spell while two squad members slithered toward Renamon's position. "Interesting. Let me accompany you," muttered Renamon as she dashed toward the two oncoming devils. They encircled her, and the first devil attempted to bite her with his venomous fangs from behind. However, Renamon quickly identified a flaw and gracefully evaded the attack. She responded with a fox spin kick, a series of roundhouse kicks aimed at the incapacitated devil's chst, causing him to cough up blood. Renamon wasted no time, transitioning to her next opponent, who wielded his tail offensively. She deftly rolled away from his tail strikes, narrowly evading the deadly blows. She sprang to her feet with fluid grace and executed a kick imbued with ghostly flames. The devil unleashed his tail, also infused with dark magic. Their attacks collided with a tremendous force, sending shockwaves through the ground as it cracked under the impact. They engaged in a heated exchange of blows, each lost in their world of combat. Meanwhile, Hex watched the unfolding battle, feeling a surge of anticipation as his magic materialized, conjuring multiple flame lances above his head. Die! Hex bellowed, preparing to turn the tables and escape the humiliation he had endured at Renamon's hands. Never before had he felt so manipulated and outsmarted since his transformation into a devil. Hex's heart raced with anticipation, eagerly awaiting the sight of Renamon's lifeless body lying on the ground. But Renamon was far from foolish, and her experience on the battlefield had honed her awareness. She quickly detected the impending threat of Hex's incoming magic and spared a moment to glance at it. While Renamon kept an eye on the incoming danger, the devil she was engaged with fought recklessly, oblivious to his surroundings. He paid no attention to the imminent danger from his boss's reckless plan, consumed by the thrill of battle. With adrenaline pumping through his veins, the devil leaped into the air, his tail charged with dark magic, ready to strike Renamon. The ground cracked beneath the force of his attack, leaving behind a small crater. Renamon seized the opportunity and dashed toward the grounded devil. It wasn't long before the other devil noticed the approaching flame lances. BSTRD. HEKZ, how could you? The frustrated devil cried out, unable to fathom that his leader would sacrifice him so callously. It's for the greater good, Wuyul. Hex rejoiced, displaying a complete disregard for his subordinate's life. Greater good, my butt. How can you respond to me with this nonsense with a straight face? Wuyul protested, desperately trying to escape his impending doom. The clash between Renamon and her adversaries was reaching its CLMX, and the fate of the devils hung in the balance. However, Wuyul's desperate plea was brushed aside. Renamon was ruthless in her pursuit of the enemy. She didn't hesitate by seizing Wuyul by the tail and preparing to hurl him toward the incoming flames. Wait a minute, Fox, let's talk about it, alright? Yuyul's voice trembled as he desperately tried to negotiate. How about using that guy over there, huh? You already smashed him to the ground. So, we might as well use him, yeah? Don't waste useful material like that, he's still capable of a few hits. I felt a connection between us as we fought. This is something we should preserve together. We might be linked by fate, and honestly, I think you are a pretty cute fox. I never dated a yukai before, but we might make this work. Rinamon rolled her eyes at the absurdity of his words and threw Yuyul toward the incoming flames. He cursed her shamelessly as his nonsense went unanswered. UF where, DMN. Yuyul's body erupted in a fiery explosion upon impact with the barrage of flame lances. Heck's shock was evident in his wide-eyed expression. He unleashed a flurry of spells toward Rinamon in a last-ditch effort, his panic casting evident in their low potency and inaccuracy. Rinamon easily dodged the poorly aimed spells, her paws now wreathed in ghostly flames. With a swift and decisive kick, she struck the magic shield Hex had hastily conjured. Why you can't kill me? We have a lord backing us. He will find you, as we are his most loyal subordinates. He will hunt you down. Hex shouted, his fear evident as he faced his imminent demise. Useless. The Digimon Emperor will protect us and defeat your so-called patron, Rinamon retorted coldly. She channeled more power into her fiery kick, causing the ghostly flames to intensify and consume Hex's magic shield. Digimon Emperor? Is that your MSTR? Never heard of him. You should join US. Your strength will get you everything, don't follow an unknown with your strength. Hex's desperation showed as he clung to the last shreds of hope. Renamon's face tightened with anger as she abandoned her kick, opting for a decisive palm strike coated with ghostly flames. She sheerly shattered Hex's magical shield, leaving him defenseless and sealing his fate. Her hand passed through Hex's body as his life ended, and the lifeless form fell to the ground. She looked at her bloodied hand momentarily, her expression remaining resolute. Her gaze then shifted to the two devils who had not been dealt yet, who pleaded for mercy in desperate voices. PP please don't kill us. WWE can be useful, please, the two devils implored as Rinamon approached them, her intent clear. However, her lethal mission was unexpectedly interrupted when Wizardmon arrived and gently patted her shoulder. Rinamon glanced at Wizardmon, puzzled by his sudden intervention. They have someone behind them, so I intend to interrogate them slowly and learn about their background. I'll leave with them, so please inform Sora about it, Wizardmon explained as he summoned a crack to envelop the two fallen stray devils. Understood, Rinamon acknowledged, visibly relaxing as the burden of executing the remaining devils was lifted from her shoulders. With Wizardmon following them into the cracks, he waved Rinamon goodbye. Not 5 minutes later, Sora appeared as his Agumon transformation receded, leaving his human form. Well, looks like you took care of it, Rinamon. Good job, Sora commended, offering her a warm smile as he stroked his general's head. Rinamon accepted the head pat with a degree of satisfaction, and her eyes closed, arms crossed. Sora's attention shifted to Shizuka, who was approaching them with Sengoku in tow. He sighed with relief at the sight of his friends and, bidding Rinamon farewell for now, joined Shizuka. Let's go, Rinamon. Rinamon replied, her readiness to move evident as they regrouped with their companions. Sora entered Shizuka's home, feeling a sense of intrusion. He gently opened the door, careful not to disturb the slumbering form of their colleague, Chihiro. Fortunately, Wizardmon had the wisdom to ensure she remained in a deep sleep. Still accepting the supernatural world, Sora couldn't bear the thought of exposing another friend to its dangers, especially with his limited strength. Sorry for intruding, Sora quietly muttered. Shizuka, carrying Chihiro, looked back at him. You can wait for me on my couch while I care for Chihiro. Sora nodded in agreement. However, he couldn't help but express his concern for Shizuka as she got involved in these unknown, perilous affairs. Sure, but Shizuka, do you want to know the truth? You can honestly remain ignorant of this side of the world. Shizuka, who returned from her room, crossed her arms and stared at Sora, her expression resolute. Don't worry, I'm very certain about this. Chihiro and I would have died if you weren't there with us, Sora. I want to know more, and remaining ignorant honestly scares me. What would happen if we encountered another situation like that or our students? I want information about those devils and possibly gain strength against them. Sora recognized the bravery in Shizuka's decision and the trauma they had all experienced. He mulled over her words and realized she deserved to know the truth about the supernatural world. After all, it was only fair to be informed, especially when they were moved into a dangerous, unfamiliar reality. Sora eventually broke the silence. Fine, you're right, but it won't be easy, and I'll refrain from revealing the most major secrets. I'll introduce you to the general situation of the supernatural world in our current predicament. Shizuka's relief was evident as she smiled at Sora. Thank you, Sora. I mean it. Sora took a deep breath before continuing, his voice steady and composed. Okay, Shizuka, the world you've stepped into is part of what's known as the other side, a supernatural realm filled with all sorts of creatures and factions. It's a place where angels, demons, magic, gods, yokai, and other mythological beings exist. Shizuka listened intently, absorbing this new information with curiosity and a hint of trepidation. Within this world, Sora continued, there are different factions or pantheon, and many of them operate in secrecy to maintain a balance. The supernatural world remains hidden from regular humans. Shizuka nodded, now understanding the terminology. So, what about these devils we encountered today? Are they a faction within this world? Yes and no. This is another can of worms, said Sora as he patted his forehead. What do you mean, Sora? Before we talk about them, I'll have to talk to you about the three factions war and the Devil Civil War. Shizuka's eyes widened with intrigue as she leaned in, eager to learn more. Sora continued, the three great factions war was a monumental battle between the biblical faction of the supernatural world, the angels, the fallen angels, and the devils. These factions are linked to various mythologies and religious beliefs, making it quite complicated. Shizuka nodded, indicating for him to continue. At some point in the past, the four original Satans, Lucifer, Asmodeus, Leviathan and Beelzebub, desiring world domination led the devils against the biblical God and the angels in heaven as well as Azazel and the fallen angels from Grigori in the Great War, the latter of whom retreated prior. The four great Satans eventually died in the Great War after more than half of the 72 pillars and a majority of the armies of devils that served the high-class devil clans of the 72 pillars were wiped out. After they died in the Great War, a group of their descendants of the four great Satans intended to carry on their legacy by gathering the strong supporters of the original four great Satans and finish what they started, the Great War, to realize the world domination ambition of the original Satans. Their intentions, however, were opposed by a particular group of devils, the anti-Satan faction, who wanted to ensure the survival of the devils as a species, thus disapproving of the continuation of the Great War. This disagreement eventually caused a civil war between the devils, ultimately leading to the defeat of the original Satan's descendants. Following the defeat of the descendants who were forced to retreat to the back part of the underworld, their names became titles for the new rulers of the devils, while the original Satans became known as the Old Satans. Shizuka was shocked by this piece of history. This is so. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? I, too, was taken aback when I first learned about this. Following the Civil War, the devil population experienced a significant decline, leaving their community in panic. Compounding this issue, devils are known for their longevity, but their BRTH rate was alarmingly low, making the conventional methods of population growth ineffective. Sora continued. They continued to struggle for a few years until the emergence of the Evil Pieces system. Evil Pieces system? Yes, while the evil pieces system was a blessing for the devils, it was a curse for many individuals worldwide. How come? Asked Hiratsuka, startled by Sora's declaration. The system of evil pieces, devised by Ajuka Beelzebub, the current Beelzebub, was established to replenish the dwindling devil population after the devastating Great War, which had resulted in the loss of countless lives. These evil pieces are typically distributed to pure-blooded high-class devils, also known as nobles, enabling them to amass their followers of servants. Consisting of a set of 15 chess pieces, they possess the power to reincarnate individuals into reincarnated devils under their command, regardless of whether the subjects are willing or not. Shizuka's eyes widened, looking both astonished and horrified by this revelation. She leaned closer to Sora, her voice filled with a mix of shock and concern. The evil pieces system. It sounds like a double-edged sword. While it helped replenish the devil population, Sora nodded solemnly, acknowledging Shizuka's concerns. You're well aware of the predominant stereotypes associated with devils. Thanks to this new system, many noble devils have become wilder, arrogant, and greedy in their pursuit of recruiting the most powerful individuals under their command. He continued, the consequences for humans, especially the sacred gear users, were significant. Sacred gear, interjected Shizuka with some curiosity. Don't worry, I'll explain that shortly. In any case, those who were reincarnated as devils often found themselves embroiled in power struggles among these factions. Numerous races were forcibly transformed into subservient beings under the dominion of these mighty devils, effectively having their lives controlled by their masters. Human beings, too, became instruments in the larger machinations of their devil overlords. Shizuka felt a surge of empathy for those affected by this system. That's horrifying. So many people were stripped of their free will and forced into a life they never chose. Sora's expression turned somber, and he nodded in agreement. You're absolutely right, Shizuka. It's a cruel system that treats humans and other races as expendable resources. Fortunately, not all devils embraced this tradition. Some, like the Gremory family and its allies, believe in forming partnerships with their servants rather than treating them as mere tools. That's a relief, I guess. Let's return to the matter of our attackers, Sora continued, his voice growing more resolute. These individuals are commonly referred to as stray devils. They are reincarnated devils who have deviated from their masters, pursuing their own selfish desires. In the absence of the restraining influence of their masters, their unchecked powers can escalate to a point where they pose a significant threat. The devil community regards this situation with the utmost seriousness, and any devil who goes astray is typically dealt with swiftly, often facing execution on the spot. But the one we fought mentioned something about having someone pulling the strings, didn't they? Shizuka recalled, thinking back to her encounter with Hex. Sora nodded in agreement. You're right. I provided you with the standard definition of stray devils given by the devil faction. However, each case of betrayal varies, with some devils turning against their masters to escape abuse, while others succumb to the allure of newfound power, and so on. So, what does this mean for us, then? Can we be sure that Kuo will remain safe? Shizuka asked, her tone tinged with nervousness. Sora took a moment to consider the situation regarding Kuo. As he recalled, Kuo was originally a territory once owned by Yukai, but it had been temporarily loaned to the devils. However, following the demise of the former devil owner and her exorcist lover, who had uncovered the secret of the king piece within the evil pieces system, her entire peerage had been mercilessly slaughtered by higher-ups in the devil faction, and the cause of their death was declared because of their forbidden love. Kuo was now ownerless by default, and no one was actively monitoring the area for potential threats. Sora's thoughts briefly wandered to Seraphol, who had been attending their school incognito, but he quickly pushed that notion aside. No one should be able to claim the territory until the appearance of Sona Citri and Rias Gremory, that is, until 5 years or less. In conclusion, Kuo is currently unsafe, and it looks like he has to intervene. Not really safe, replied Sora as he explained the situation honestly. Of course, he omitted the King Peace scandal to Shizuka, whose face paled. But don't worry, I will protect Kuo with my Digimon, said Sora as he reassured his friend, who suddenly became curious at the unfamiliar term. Digimon? Asked Shizuka cutely. Right. I almost forgot to introduce you to them and the Sacred Gear system. Sora took a moment to explain the Sacred Gear system to Hiratsuka, breaking it down in an easier way. Shizuka, in our world, there exists a system known as the Sacred Gear system made by the biblical God to help humanity fight against the supernatural realm. It grants its users unique and extraordinary abilities. These abilities can range from enhanced physical prowess to elemental manipulation, healing, or even more exotic powers. These sacred gears are pretty diverse. And there are different classes and categories, each with its own distinct powers. This is incredible, thought Shizuka as she examined her body, wondering if she was also gifted with such ability. Indeed, but there's a catch. Sacred gears can be both a gift and a curse. Some, known as Longinus, are incredibly powerful but often have significant risks or drawbacks. Sacred gears are highly sought after by different factions in our world, such as angels, fallen angels, and especially devils. Each faction has its own agenda for using these artifacts, leading to conflicts and power struggles. Due to their unique abilities, people with sacred gears often find themselves in battles and confrontations. Said Sora with exhaustion. So, these devils' greed for us humans is because of our potential sacred gears. Does that mean you have one, too? Asked Shizuka curiously. A sacred gear? I possess the Annihilation Maker, which allows me to create many creatures based on my imagination. So, the Renamon and Wizardmon you encountered were my creations, and I've categorized their entire species as Digimon or digital monsters that inhabit the digital world. Responded Sora with a smile. It's quite surprising. I had no idea you had such a vivid imagination to create such well-defined monsters. Sora chuckled as he shared his creative process with Shizuka. Yes, I drew inspiration and even established a complete lore and system for their existence, which makes it easier for me to create them. But his cheerful tone shifted as he fell silent. Shizuka, noticing the change, inquired, Sora. Unexpectedly, Sora summoned his sacred gear, which appeared differently from its usual Digivice-like appearance. Before him hung a singular blue crystal shard suspended in the air. Perplexed and curious, Sora cautiously reached out to touch the shard, and it began to shift and change. To Shizuka's delight, they saw numerous Digimon appearing inside the crystal. She asked with wonder, "What is that, Sora?" Sora paused, contemplating the situation before offering a possible explanation. I believe this is the crystallization of the Digimon I created. The world, the story, and the system of the Digimon that I shared with my sacred gear have made this possible. It appears to be a small world or a database that will make it easier to bring my creations related to Digimon creatures to life. I'll need to discuss this with Wisemon and Datamon when the opportunity arises. Then again, I'm certain that what I've seen so far is just the most primitive or basic function of these shards. I'm still in the dark about their full capabilities, Sora expressed with a hint of frustration. As he contemplated the situation further, Sora couldn't help but think, it would be nice if my sacred gear had its own consciousness and could provide more insights. He then decided to experiment by willing another shard into existence. This time, a blank shard appeared beside him, devoid of life and content. Interesting, Sora mused before dismissing his sacred gear. Shizuka, who had been engrossed in the Digimon within the crystal, noticed Sora's decision and asked, "You're done with your experiment?" Sora agreed with a smile, "Yes, it's getting late, and I'm feeling a bit drained from all the talking." Shizuka nodded, "Oh, I see. I'll get you some water and prepare a futon for the night." As he considered her offer, Sora replied, "Sure, thank you once again, Shizuka." She smiled warmly, "Don't worry about it. You've been a tremendous help. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Bobmon on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.